Hi everybody, welcome back to Model Me. My name's Natasha if we've never met before, and I have got an episode for you. I was thinking, how on earth do I begin to recap and reflect on the year that not just I have had, but that we have had as a community, as a business. And it's really been a big year for Model Me, but I also felt that as I was reflecting, and I literally started reflecting by going bit by bit through what we did every month, what were the events that we did, what were the new products or services that we launched. And I am just so thrilled and thankful to be at the end of 2024 and to be able to sit here and say that we just did another year of events. But we didn't just do events this year, we took things up a whole nother level. And I have wanted to do some of the things and the products that I have launched this year, I have dreamt of doing. And as I've been reflecting and preparing for this podcast, I have just had such gratitude, and it has encouraged me so much. I have been sitting here thinking, wow, I've achieved things that I've really wanted to achieve for a long time. And I've put things in place this year that clearly, I think I can be the first one. I'll admit it, okay? You don't have to. I'll admit it for us. I can be so quick to beat myself down, to, say, wow, Tash, you should have done this, you should have done that, you didn't make this happen, you didn't do X, Y, Z. And I can be the first person to kind of sit and reflect and say, whoa, I wish I'd done whatever. And the truth is, in many ways, yes, that, I shared this on my social not long ago. I wished I'd done more podcasts. I wish I was more consistent with my podcast because I felt that it was something I should have been doing 2 years ago. And actually, the truth is, I was doing podcasts in 2019. And if you scroll back enough on our Spotify, you can, and on Apple Podcasts too, you can see the podcast I used to do in 2019. And I still have this about me, but this sometimes in certain areas, and particularly in 2019, I had this fearlessness and a rogueness about me where I would just pick up my phone, press record. It didn't matter where we were. I was going to have this conversation and I was going to make it happen. And I was traveling a lot that year. And I remember I was in America and I interviewed a friend in Vegas in the back of a conference center. And I've shared that story before, but it is an iconic story for me because I look back and it reminds me of, I suppose, the zest and the zeal that I had in that year. And I definitely still have that now, but I can see now, how when people talk about when they get older, and I'm really not trying to say that I'm older, but I have grown and I've matured in many good ways. However, there are some ways where I can see and maybe think a little bit more about something. And so therefore, how that has translated to me in recent weeks when I've been reflecting is I have been holding myself back. And this week I had quite a hard pep talk with myself. And I just was like, we're taking things up another gear. And I'm really excited to sit here and say that to you because first of all, I want you to hold me accountable. And I know you're probably thinking, but you haven't told us what to hold you accountable to. The pure fact that I've sat here and said this to you on a podcast is enough accountability for me because I know the visions and dreams that God has placed in my heart. I don't believe that I have created some of them. I mean, I know I can't have because they're far too big for me to do by myself and they absolutely petrify me. Some of the visions I have for where I want to take Model Me and also the things I believe that we'll do and the amount that we're going to impact people, it's petrifying. And I share that with you because I think it's real, right? But also there is a real beauty and joy in knowing that it's not on me, it's not down to me and my works that it's going to happen. If I could sit here and tell you about certain projects that I'm working on right now, that if they come to pass next year, it is going to be a full act of God. There is no other way about it. There's just there's no other way. There's no way that I could work hard enough to make it happen. There's no amount of hours I could put in to pull it off. There's just no way. And so I know that's like, huh? But I pray that this time next year, I'm sitting and telling you about this amazing project that we got to fulfill. And it will be the beginning of something really exciting. But before we even talk about next year, let's talk about 2024. I want to say first and foremost, thank you so much to every single one of you for every minute you have watched on our Instagram or YouTube, every podcast moment you've listened to, every event that you have attended, every worksheet that you've worked on, that you've marinated over, that you've slept on and processed and spoken about with your close friends and family. I just want to say well done, because I know that so many of you have done such hard work on yourself, and it is a real privilege to be able to do that with you and sit with you. And I'm not necessarily taking credit. I'm talking about when we're in those workshop spaces and working through some of those things together. There's nothing else like it. And I'm very, very, very grateful that I get to run this kind of business, that I get to witness in real time people change right in front of my eyes. And I honestly am so grateful for that, because if you know me, you will know that I am a huge empath. I really feel like the things going on around me. I was in A&E with a friend the other day, and I was there with my friend. And so that in itself, my friend was amazing, and that in itself was one thing. But being around all these people and sitting in 3 different waiting rooms, my spirit was like, what is going on? And it's taken me a couple of days, to be honest with you, to even process kind of what was happening and what I witnessed and what I felt. And I'm still feel like I'm processing it, but it's it's quite amazing. I felt at many of our events that I've been sat at that often it's such an incredible opportunity for people to come and work on themselves. And I know that it's not an easy one. And I just want to say well done. I just really want to say well done. And I'm so proud of you. Like every single one of you that I've met this year. And even if I haven't met you and you've just watched our podcasts, or, you're in another part of the world and you've just seen a few things that we've done here and there, I just want to say I'm proud of you for the work that you've done with whatever you've heard, because we can be so susceptible to just consuming content and letting the Instagram algorithm feed us, and whether it be TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is that you watch, it could even be YouTube Shorts. That I know that's happened to me a few times, where I've been like, oh, I'm on YouTube and I'm looking for something to watch, and before you know it, I'm on YouTube Shorts. And I just want to say it takes there is a real difference, and it takes a real bravery to be able to hear something, listen to it, and say, you know what, I'm going to go and work on that on myself. Anyone can listen to anything, but will they actually implement that and do what they need to do in order to change themselves from something they've heard? It's a completely different story. So I just want to say well done. Honestly, I'm really, really, I'm excited to go through some of what we've done this year with you. And you guys have been... you are the reason that we do modelme. I have people in mind when I create certain workshops, and when I think about the formulation of how an event might be, I have specific people in my mind. And I feel so thankful for the people I've met this year. You have encouraged me and inspired me. And you have really fed the modelme mission. Because of you and your questions and your feedback, that has built the next event. It has built the next workshop. And I'm also very grateful for other circles that aren't necessarily have been modelme, because I have been in conversations that I have sat and I've thought, wow, people are really struggling. And it's never been just one conversation. It's kind of normally been one, like a domino effect, like I've heard one thing and then I've heard many other people say it afterwards. And then I'm kind of sitting at home and I'm reflecting and I'm going, we need to talk about that, because people aren't talking about it. And there's a solution that needs to be provided for what people are dealing with right now. And that's what modelme is all about, right? We are a solution-based business, and I really want our events, our workshops, our on-demand platform, our mentoring services, and we're launching our corporate program, and I am so excited about that because it's going to be really powerful what we're going to be able to do to go into companies and to help them with the well-being of their staff, help them with the mental health of their staff. So if you're watching this and you're like, that sounds really interesting, I think my business or the company I work for really needs a bit of modelme, and we really need to help our staff. It could be with relationships, it could be communication, it could be burnout, it could be stress management. We have got such a wide range of things that we're going to do that I've literally formulated this program, and I'm so excited because that has been something I've had in my mind for a while. So you heard it here first on the modelme podcast that that's what's coming up. Now, in this podcast, I wanted to do a bit of a recap of the year that we've had. I wanted to talk through some of the things that we've done this year, some of the amazing ways that I've been impacted, and also the amazing things that you guys have said, some incredible testimonies. But I also, and I thought that would be really cool to do because obviously if you're not in London and you aren't really sure what happens at a modelme event, then I wanted to give you a bit of an insight into what happens. And so I'll also be featuring some clips from modelme workshops. And I thought that what better way to show you what actually happens in our workshops, because we have an on-demand platform if you didn't know about that already. And you can go onto the on-demand platform. If you go onto our website, modelmemission.com, our on-demand platform is linked right there on the homepage. You can't miss it. It's a very clear button on the screen. And we have 5 workshops on there right now. But by the time this podcast goes live, there will be 7. The next 2 workshops that have just got posted is one antidote to anxiety workshop. You heard it, an anxiety workshop to help you with your anxiety. And honestly, this workshop was a real gift to be able to do this. I felt so grateful. We had like 35 people in the room, and I was quite shocked, I'm not gonna lie. If you told me before COVID that I would have been able to run an anxiety workshop, I frankly wouldn't believe you, because people before COVID, there are certain things we couldn't talk about, and now we can. And I'm so grateful because we need to create events, workshops, solutions for people to work with their anxiety with many different issues, but this one particularly was anxiety. And the other workshop that's just gone live, which I really want to highly recommend as well, is the Year in Review workshop. And that will really help you reflect on the year that you've had, think about what you need to do to recharge and renew your vision for 2025. So you can check all that on our on-demand platform. Now, I will be talking about highlights, of course, because we've had an amazing year. But I also thought, let me give you some of the behind the scenes and just share with you some of the realness of building a business by yourself. And I quit my job end of last year, and I really took the leap. I was like, I want to do this business full time. I believe that I can. Can I? And I still have these moments now. The reality is it's a journey, and I'm so glad and grateful that I took the leap when I did, because there are things that I've been able to put in place in modelme this year that I wouldn't have been able to do if I wasn't full time. So it's been pretty incredible, but there's no doubt it has been really, really hard and difficult and challenging at times. And I personally feel that a lot of us, me being a consumer myself still, where I'm consuming content and I'm inspired by certain people, I want to hear the challenges that people have gone through and how they got through it, and be able to kind of like watch someone and hear them and say, wow, okay, you walked through that and you're still here and you're still pursuing, you're still going forward. And one of my friends was encouraging me this week because it actually was this is so funny. I feel like all year long, I have been talking about one of my best friends that's moved to Bali. And I've been like, my best friend moved to Bali and da-da-da. And I have this story and I talk about it and da-da-da. This week, I got to see her in real life. And I just feel like it's such a part of the modelme podcast and workshop journey. I feel like I've spoken about her so much because I've learned so much about having a best friend on the other side of the world and the pursuit of friendship when your girl is the other side of the planet. And I'm so grateful because this week I got to see her, and it was awesome. I was sat with her thinking, I had these moments where I was like, how do I actually do my life without this woman in this city with me? Like, it's actually insane, but I'm really grateful, and it was a beautiful, beautiful moment to be reunited with my girl. So yeah, that was that was a proper cool highlight this week. Now, I actually need to wear glasses. These are absolutely filthy. Hold on. Okay, so I actually need to wear the glasses for screens is what I was going to say. So first I thought I'd run you through some of the events that we did this year, and I'll be sharing some clips from a few of them. We always love to start in January with either a vision event or an event on identity, because as we start the new year, it's so important for us to actually remind ourselves, what is the vision for my life? You might not set New Year's resolutions, or you might not be someone that says, all of a sudden, new year, new me. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that either, but I understand. I think sometimes it's a great catalyst for people to change. And so every one of us is so different, and we need to sometimes allow ourselves to let other people be different to what we have set the intention for in our lives. So personally for me, I get a new anchor word every year. That's something that I have done for the last few years, and it's really, really been quite monumental actually for me, and how I've tracked through the year, like what that word means to me and where I feel like that word is taking me in this season. And actually, I'm sat right in front of my word this year, which was unlock, and ask, seek, knock was kind of like my word in 23, and it came from my word seeking in 2022. So it's been an amazing few years actually, with having that kind of anchor word in my life and letting that really marinate over the year. I even feel like my word next year, which I'm not going to talk about yet, but that is a development for me on the word unlock, which is really cool. And it kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, is that really my word? And then I kept getting confirmation. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. So we did in January, identity, preparing you for 2024. We did that at Hanbury Hall. I have to say a really quick thank you to Hanbury Hall, because they have supported me so much. I mean, there are so many brands that we work with at modelme that are incredibly helpful, supportive. You know, they really help us do what we do at modelme, and we wouldn't be where we are as a business without their support. So I have to say thank you to Hanbury Hall. Reese, you are a legend. I'm so grateful for you. And yeah, I'm so excited to see what happens next with the Good Space Company, which owns Hanbury Hall. And so we did an event there in January with Shelley Collins, who, if you haven't met, is just iconic. We will be doing our Women's Day event with her in March, actually. I've already got it in the diary. And the reason I like working with Shelley so much is because she tells you as it is. She tells you the truth. It can be very challenging and very confronting, but it's radical with how it helps you mentally and change your life, literally. And then we did Bar and Burnout with Corinne, and that was in a gym in central London. Corinne is another person who has, very similar to Shelley, done a bunch of events with me over the years. And she's someone I've trained with literally since like 2018. So it's really incredible to get to bring on someone that you know and love yourself, and I get to bring her to the modelme community. Like, amazing. I'm very particular with who I work with at modelme. I'm very selective. I feel very responsible for what we create at modelme and our community. In many ways, I suppose you could say I am the gatekeeper to what I let into our space. And it's precious what we do in our space. It's important and it's vital. We really help people change and develop and grow and learn about themselves. And so I ain't gonna let nobody random in. Like, that's not happening. So I'm very, very, very selective. And I've had, even this year, many people be like, we should do something together. And I'm always like, yeah, well, we can talk about it, because I'm not going to make promises that, one, I can't keep. I try to be a woman of my word. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I don't know you. Like, I meet people, and the first time they meet me, they're like, we should work together. I'm like, we should talk first. And I don't mean that in a rude way. I feel like they should do that too for me. And I know sometimes I could track back on some conversations where it's like, I've said to people, you know, quite eagerly at the beginning, I love meeting new people. And especially if it's someone that I try to be spirit-led. And so if I'm feeling and sensing that actually this is someone that we should definitely talk more to, I try to just be careful with my words and be like, you know, we should definitely connect, and we should definitely have a conversation and see if there's any ways that we can, you know, overlap. I'm not promising anything though, because I mean, the same way that I am a gatekeeper of my business, they too should be a gatekeeper of their business. And, you know, I just think we have to be a little bit more, let's encourage each other with that as we step into the next year, because I think we should, right? There should be an intention behind who you work with, and you shouldn't be working willy-nilly with everybody. And that's the issue really with influencer culture today, is that you have some influencers that will say, and brands that will say yes to anything and anyone, and then what ends up happening is you don't have people that trust their voice because they say yes to anyone and anything. And that ain't me. That ain't me. I would much rather not do it if it was the wrong thing. Like, I love the phrase, the right thing at the wrong time. It's wrong, period, it's wrong. There's nothing right about it. So I just want to encourage you, okay? Like, if you're a business owner watching this and you feel like you need to be collaborating and working with everybody, and, you know, you meet people that are like, we should work together, like, you don't have to work with everybody. I've turned down money in the past. Like, when we didn't have any money, I've turned around and said, no, thank you, because integrity is everything. In this world, integrity is everything, at least for me. And so I want to be someone that actually honors that and lives by that, doesn't just say it. In February, I actually didn't do any events. So there are a couple of months in the year where I think we did like 23 events this year, which is incredible. And in February, April, and August, we didn't do any events. And so it's kind of crazy, right? In like 9 months, we did 23 events or so. And, you know, sometimes I think, and I've definitely said in the past, oh, we've done an event every month this year. And then when I reflected, I realized, oh my gosh, we haven't done an event every month. And that's fine, right? It's fine. Like, I had to look back and go, what did I do in February? And I actually I've done quite a lot of investing in myself this year. So in February, I started a course called Passion to Profit by Hayley Melinda Record and Sterling Record. And I could not recommend these guys enough. Like, they are incredible. I just have gleaned so much. I have learnt incredible amounts of information from them. It is the best money I've ever spent, I feel, like investing in myself in their course. They have poured into me this year, and in many ways, you know, been like mentors. I've been to events that they've put on, and those events have been life-changing events I'll remember forever. The prophecy that was spoken into me at one of those events, the words of encouragement. I went to an event in November that Hayley put on, and oh my word, I was healed in that space. The atmosphere changed me, and I'm so thankful for that, you know, and I pray that that's what modelme's atmospheres are like, that they change people, they transform people, they heal people. In fact, I know that they do because I've witnessed it, I've seen it, the testimonies speak for themselves. Anyway, so yeah, February was investing in myself. I was learning, I was growing, and I was kind of reframing where I thought the business was going to go. And so I needed to take a minute, because when I'm running events, they just become priority, because I obviously have to market the event. Like, I actually was, one of the things I was reflecting on is like everything that I do at an event. Like, I literally do, you know, the A to Z of event management. I plan the event, I organize the logistics, I work with the brand partnerships, I build the goodie bags, I am the welcome team, I set up my camera, I am the event setup, I run the workshop, I collect the feedback afterwards, I create content, and then I edit the content and I edit the workshop and put it onto our platform, which now my business partner's coming back to work, she's going to start doing that, which is so cool. And I plan the follow-up event, you know, so it's kind of hilarious, because I think people don't sit and actually, I think entrepreneurs, you know, startup business owners, you've got to give yourself a clap on the back, right? People don't talk enough about the behind the scenes of what it is to actually build this business. Like, I'm sat in my bedroom, I borrowed my friend's light, I was given and blessed with these mics this year, so thank you, Scott, and I use my phone to film. And someone said to me before, they thought I used some like really beautiful mad camera because it was so well done, and I was like, no, I just have a really great phone. Like, I invested in the phone that I have so I could create this kind of content. And I think it's just amazing, isn't it? Because, like, in fact, I'm looking at this laptop and I'm pretty sure that this year, I'm sure it was this year, my boyfriend gifted me this laptop. Like, he literally turned up one day and we were sat catching up, having a tea and a coffee, and he just whipped out this laptop out of nowhere and gave it to me. And he was like, this is for you. And I was like, what? It was crazy. It was crazy. But he was like, yeah, it was this year, because he said, you know, in my old laptop, I couldn't edit workshops. I couldn't edit videos because it was quite an old laptop. It was a Mac, but it was quite old and it had absolutely no memory, so I couldn't download anything. Oh my gosh, I've just remembered. Like, this is crazy. This was a huge thing that happened for me this year because, you know, my boyfriend really he really believes in me and he really believes in my business. And I mean, I'm just going to take a hot second and say, girl, if you're a girl watching this, girl, get with a guy that believes in you, your vision, your business, your mission, and that wants to help you prosper in that. Because don't go getting with a guy that doesn't. Just don't go getting with a guy that doesn't. It's just not. It's no. Okay, just no. Let me just leave that right there and say, the man you choose to date, man, notice how I said man, not boy, okay? The man that you choose to date, it's extremely vital for the life that you're going to end up living and the life that you build for yourself. And you got to be careful, girl, because if you're not careful, you'll end up with the wrong guy that'll take you down the wrong path. And before you know it, you'll be like, oh, how did I get here? Because you started dating the wrong guy. Anyway, we're doing a dating workshop in February. So if you want to come, I'll let you girl know, because it's going to be at Soho House. So members, but I'll have an exclusive guest list. So come on through. If you're a Soho House member, look out for it. It'll be on Monday, the 10th of February. So it's amazing, isn't it? Wow. Looking back and reflecting, it's so important. He got me this laptop so that I could edit modelme workshops and so that I could launch my on-demand platform. And now I'm sitting here realizing, wow, what a blessing that was. And actually, I just want to thank Jesus for that, because wow, that is so cool. Amazing, isn't it, when you've got someone that believes in you that much? It's beautiful. So let me go back to some of the powerful events that we did. So in March, we did a really powerful online event for International Women's Day with Caitlin Zhang and Simone Maya, and we spoke about confidence and authenticity. In March, we also did Pilates and Priorities workshop with Sophie Freya Cook. In April, no events again, and I was doing a short course at UAL. And I really took the month of April. I just remember really reflecting. I was doing the course with Hayley and Sterling. I was doing their course. And then I was doing the short course at UAL, which was like a creative business short course. And it was amazing, really, really amazing. But there was so much information being fed to me that I think I had to just take a second and be like, I learned a lot about myself this year in terms of the voices that I listened to. And if I look back, April was a huge month for that, because I was learning and studying so much, and I had to kind of like I went to some like 4-hour classes with UAL, and I'd have like sometimes on a Monday 2 or 3 hour sessions with Hayley and Sterling. And I would have all this information would come, and it was all incredible information. But I had to like take stock and take a second and say, right, what is important right now that I need to be working on? And what is information that I need to park and look at in the future, because it's either not relevant right now, or a lot of the things I learned from the UAL course was not relevant for me because I wasn't at that part of my business anymore. Because, you know, modelme is 6 years old. And so there are certain things that I have kind of worked on and got down already that I kind of don't need to look at again. And so it's great to hear the information, but in terms of spending time and marinating on that, it's just not necessary when there are other things that I should be putting my time and energy into. So yeah, April was really, I remember, very lots to learn. And it was exciting though, because I had May to look forward to. And within these months at the beginning of the year, what I will also mention is we were considering going to get investment for modelme, and so I worked on a lot of spreadsheets. I created financial revenue plans. I worked out a project plan for the next 12 months. I think at one point I applied for funding, and that was around March, April as well. And funding applications are real. I mean, I didn't get the funding, but it was a great exercise to just work that out, like to actually be able to see what that funding journey is like. There was a lot I learned about myself, about my business, in all of these training moments where I was doing the short course at UAL, you know, the Passion to Profit course with Hayley and Sterling, and also the funding application and the process of, am I going to go and get investment? And I absolutely loved the investors that I was talking to. They are such special people that I'm actually still in contact with. And they're incredible. Like, particularly one of them who I spent a lot of time with. I mean, the way this woman impacted me and made me think about things and helped me process certain, conversations in my mind. It was so helpful to sit with her and do that. And I don't know, to be honest, right now about investment. I think right now, a lot of things happen this year in modelme where I'm really glad that I really focused in the first half of the year on a lot of the things that you put in place in order to get to a place where you can even talk to an investor. And I'm very thankful that I had the conversations with these investors that I had. And the confidence that it built in me and the way it helped me learn about my business was amazing. Honestly, it was actually incredible. I learned so much about where modelme is going and financially what it looks like as a business. And I think, you know, in the UK, we're so prudish when we talk about money. We're like, let's not talk about money ever. And the reality is, I want to build a business where I can hire a lot of people and create an incredible company culture. Because if you have people that work for you and you can influence and impact their life, you don't just impact their life, you impact their whole community's life, because one person impacts many people around them. And the idea of that gets me hyped. So as much as I love doing, you know, our external events to the public, when I get to hire people full-time at modelme, guys, I'm very excited about that. So anyway, I'm gonna move on. In May, we were back at Soho House. I absolutely love working with Soho House. I worked there for 5 years and it just holds such a dear place in my heart, that company does. I feel like it always will, because I grew so much as a person in that company. There are people that work for Soho House that took chances on me. They took me down real pathways of opportunity that I don't know if other companies would have. And so I'm really, really, really grateful. And I love going back there and doing events. It is such a treat. And we did 2 events. We did the Antidote to Hustle Culture with Simone Maya, which I'm going to show you a little clip of right now.
The hardest thing when I got here, when I got to London, was hearing how busy people are on weekends and how I have to make plans with people 6 months in advance, because every other weekend they're traveling somewhere, or every other weekend there's a birthday party. And so I said, how am I ever going to build community or relationships in this hustle culture?
Yeah.
We speak about community at our next event and we'll speak about more on that, but I thought that was, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? And I thought, well, the only way I'm going to do it is to become like this too. So that means that every single weekend my schedule has to be full. And I remember a coping mechanism for me to adapt to a new environment was every single month I needed something to look forward to. And it started with one thing, which was amazing, and I still do this. But now my calendar is so full that I have to go, okay, well, in 6 weeks I can see you. And I've become like everyone else. Not a bad thing, but once again, season of my life. What do I need in this season to regroup with myself, to ground myself in that moment, to make sure I'm looking after myself and my mental health? And during this month of Mental Health Awareness Week, I think we often talk about mental health, but we don't talk about mental fitness. And if we want to compare our mental health to our physical health, we need to look at it the same way, right? And so our physical health, you need to exercise or walk your dog, go on a healthy diet, whatever that looks like, and do it consistently to take care of your body. Now, mental health, oftentimes what happens when we experience burnout or stress or anxiety, it's too late and then we want to intervene. And so we have to take care of our minds the same way we take care of our bodies. So like we would go on a diet or exercise or do whatever. So mental fitness, what does your mental fitness look like? Now, once again, that doesn't mean that you have to meditate every day and see a therapist for the rest of your life. It really just means, how am I coping? So when I'm feeling anxious, what am I doing? Anxiety, stress, burnout. The reality is, friends, those are normal things. They're not going to go away. We can't avoid it. We can't run away from it. It's always going to be there. If it's not there, we're going to die. We need it to survive. Stress is a coping mechanism. Since the beginning of the time, people have had stress. So we can't live there's no such thing as living a stress-free life. We just have to build a healthy relationship with stress. And so I like to personify my stress. I like to pretend stress and anxiety and burnout are little people in my life. I know it sounds like I've got split personalities. I promise I don't.
And then we also did Building Authentic Friendships at Soho House, and that was a member mixer. So it's a new type of event, and it was very, very, very exciting. And actually, both of these workshops I have edited and put on our on-demand platform, so you can go and check them out. That is really cool to tell you that. In June, we started a partnership with Fujifilm. I have to shout out my friend Denise, Gordon, and even Alexander. Like, honestly, you guys, I mean, I could list every single staff member at Fujifilm that I have worked with this year, and we have done 8 events at Fujifilm. I know, 8 events. Oh my gosh. We did 4 in June. We just went out we smashed in with a bang. It was incredible. And then we did September, October, November, December. And honestly, I have to thank you guys. Like, my friend Denise has been coming to modelme for years, and she connected me at Fujifilm. And I absolutely love these guys. The way that they are just supporting me in modelme and my business, and the way that they give me the team to create content, to film it, to take pictures. Honestly, that space is special to me. It will forever hold a place in my heart and be a real integral moment to our year of 2024. I'll never forget it. And they have really stood by me this year. I'm so grateful for the conversations that we've had. You know, you guys, if you watch this, hopefully you know how much you mean to me and how thankful I am for the way that you believe in me and my business. And I'm really, really blessed. It's a real honor to say that I get to work with Fujifilm, but particularly that store, that location with those people. I love you guys. So yeah, in June we did 4 events. My word, we just went ham. It was crazy. We did Finding Friendship, Community and Belonging, and then we did 3 fitness events, one after the other, and it was incredible. In July we were back at Allbirds and we worked with a wellness day called Connect at the Yards. They invited us on. So it's kind of amazing how that happened because they got in touch with Allbirds and they wanted Allbirds, obviously because Allbirds is on Longacre, right? Down the road from Fujifilm actually. And they were like, hey, we're putting on a wellness day. Do you know anyone that's into wellness? And of course, Allbirds, I mean, I say of course. Honestly, I didn't really expect it, but also I'm so grateful, you know, like Allbirds said to me, of course, we thought of you. And so I went and did 2 workshops, a vision workshop and a dealing with burnout workshop. We did them back to back on a Sunday morning. And I don't normally do anything on a Sunday morning. It has to be a special occasion because I do have church. And it was a special occasion, that is for sure. And guess what? I have such testimony from this day. I was horrifically unwell that morning. Like, I'm not going to go into too much information because TMI. I was so unwell. It was a miracle that I left the house. It was a miracle that I made it there in the first place. Honestly, there's no 2 ways about it. And when I sat down in the chair, when I sat down and I looked, I think there was like 34 people in the room. I looked and I had these 34 faces. I didn't know any one of them. I think I had 2 or 3 friends who'd come and helped me. But like I looked in the room, I didn't know anyone. And I was like, okay, this is why I'm here. I am here. The enemy tried to stop me. Hello? He cannot stop what God has ordained, what God has anointed, what God has called you to. There is nothing in this world, no man, no disease, no sickness that can stop you doing what you are called to do. And honestly, sometimes it is a fight. It is a battle. I don't want to sit here and pretend to you that, you know, it's going to always be hunky-dory. It isn't. It's not. It's a lie. I had a horrific night and horrific morning. Honestly, guys, I just could not even begin to explain to you how much pain I was in an hour before I left the house to go and do the workshop. I could not believe I was even able to get there. And so when I got there and I sat in that chair and I looked at these people, I had this energy surge through me. It was like a lightning bolt went through me and I had the joy of the Lord smack me hard. And I said, Jesus, you are so good to me. And I was like on fire and that was it. I was off. It was like a match got set and I was just burning. I was so on fire for God in that moment because I realized sometimes you are going to have to go through a fight and you just got to be okay with that. You know, it's not always going to be hunky-dory. It's not always going to look like rainbows and butterflies. It's just not always going to be like that. And you have got to just get equipped, guys. I pray for 2025 that you are equipped. In fact, that is a word that I've been praying over myself recently. Like, Lord, equip me for what you have next year for me, because there have been moments this year where I have not felt equipped and I have felt totally like, how am I going to get through this? There are things that have happened in the last quarter of the year that blew me away, and not in the good way. And I was like holding on for dear life, like, what is going on? And I'm so thankful that I can sit here at the end of the year and say, I made it, because there were many times where I wasn't sure. So I'm grateful that it was an amazing event in August. I hope next year I get to tell you about all the things that happened in August, because August was when I started planning. I really felt like God told me to start working on this project that I actually have had as a vision in my mind since June 2019. Something about 2019, I swear. And then in September, we were back in Soho House. We did anxiety workshop. That's the thing I mentioned earlier. October, we did self-worth, overcoming low self-esteem. In November, we did style and identity, which was a totally new event, something we've never done before. We took these amazing pictures of people. People came away honestly so impacted. Some of the feedback that we got, I actually have a testimonial to share from that, which was just insane. I asked people what their biggest takeaway was in a feedback form, and someone said, your style and how you dress can often be a reflection of your inner world. It helps you with your brand, and it's important to build awareness about how you're feeling as this impacts the way that you dress. It helped me consider whether I'm showing up authentically. And that event that we did in November was like nothing else. Honestly, it was such a gift to work with my friend. And the way that that even happened and came to pass was just insane. Like, I looked at her one day, a Sunday in church, and I looked at her and I said, you have something inside of you that my community need. And that was it. Like, and I've become really good friends with Harry anyway this year. And so I already thought she was amazing. I already thought she was super special. I already know she had a gift of God on her life. I already know she's anointed. But being able to just like have that moment of like, you and I need to work together was something else. And obviously in December, we did a year in review, which I told you guys about earlier. That is going to be on the on-demand platform. We actually have such beautiful testimonials from that event as well. And I actually just wanted to share one of them with you. So somebody said they absolutely loved this event. It was such a wonderful way to enter into December, reflecting on the past year and looking into 2025. The facilitator, Natasha, that's me, brings so much energy to the room. It's always refreshing to be around her. What a gift. I'm saying what a gift, by the way, not them. I loved the positive vibe in the room, conversations I had with some of the participants, and the chance to connect. The sessions were really impactful and definitely helped me think about being kinder to myself. Honestly, some of the testimonies we get are like, they're amazing. They're amazing. So I just want to finish the podcast talking to you guys about some of the lowlights and highlights of our year. I feel like, there are so many highlights, things that I can discuss, things that I can go into that you maybe have seen online. Launching mentoring was huge for us because I've wanted to do that for years. The mentoring sessions I've had with the girls that I've spoken to I don't even know what to say. They have massively impacted my life. The growth that I've witnessed in these girls in matters of weeks has been so encouraging. And it gives me gratitude for the way that my mentor has walked with me over the years. And I'm grateful that we get to do this at modelme. And so if you feel like you would love to walk a one-on-one journey with someone, that you'd like someone to help you understand and process and really relationally with communication, honestly, I don't even want to cap what we're going to go talk about, because mentoring is something that's really about, for me at modelme, it's about meeting you where you're at and helping you with what you need at that moment. And so I just want to encourage you, I'll put the discovery form down in the description, and you can just come and have a free discovery chat with me. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's see if mentoring would suit you, if it fits what's going on right now. There's so much I could say, but I'm just gonna say that. And obviously building the on-demand platform was huge. Like I shared the testimony of the laptop that I was gifted. I learned how to edit. I actually found this incredible editing software that definitely, I think, uses AI, which is funny because I thought I was a bit ashamed at the beginning. I was like, am I allowed to use this? But how I feel about AI, if you can use it to help you do something quicker and more efficiently, as a business owner, when you do everything, like you do the taxes, I do the events, I've got my new projects coming up, I event manage with all the events that we do, I do all the marketing, I do all the content creation. Like, I need as much help as I can get, like, please. So, but at the same time, I feel there's a conflict because I have friends that are video editors and I don't want to take that work out of them. But at the same time, I see how useful it can be for someone also in my situation. Massive highlights. We got Fujifilm, Soho House as brand partners, but also, guys, Candy Kittens. I mean, hello, that is my favorite sweet. Like, I love Candy Kittens, and it took everything in me to not just want to dive into eating all those sweets all the time. Like, definitely had a few bags, I'm not gonna lie. And the feedback that we've had from people enjoying Candy Kittens, honestly, I just want to say thank you so much to the Candy Kittens team. Honestly, it's a proper vision board tick off moment to get to work with a brand like that. So grateful. Now, lowlights. I'm going to finish with some lowlights. You know, I had this note in one of my, I have these amazing, I use these incredible B5 notebooks. I should totally create an affiliate link. I'm going to do that. I had used these B5 notebooks, and this year I used 5 of these. Most of the pages are 200, but I have a couple of them that are like 360 pages. I love note-taking. I love journaling. And I was looking through one of them, and something I'd written down from something I've watched. I can't tell you what because I didn't put a heading on this page. If you don't pay attention, you will pay for not paying attention. It kind of sounds like something that Haley or Sterling would have said. So I could cite it to them, but I literally can't tell you who said it because the note wasn't on my notebook. And I love that, right? If you don't pay attention, you will pay for not paying attention. So I want to encourage you, pay attention to the things in your life that you want to work towards. Pay attention to your vision. Pay attention to your business, to the intricate parts of your business, to the many things that you want to do in your company. Pay attention. I mean, there's scripture that even talks about paying attention because, you know, the devil prowls the earth looking for someone to devour. So pay attention, okay? Now, I know it's not nice to finish on lowlights, but hopefully it's going to be nice because, you know, I'm sitting here and I've made it through the year, right? One of the lowlights I think that I can actually sit here and say I'm proud of is I've had many, many hard challenges this year. I have walked through personal attacks in ways that I just didn't know I just never foresaw that happening for me, for my business. And I have to thank God because He has radically helped me. That, like, there's just no two ways about it. My faith has grown so much because of what I've walked through. I've had really hard things happen just some really, really tough things. And when you're going through it, it's really hard to be consistent. It's really hard to want to get and create content. And I understand that people are like, you know, you should batch make content and schedule it. I get that. I understand it. It's incredible. Like, yes, woo, big up you. I personally love creating content live. I love it. I love creating content live. I love taking people on that journey with me through the year. And there have been moments where maybe I've filmed 2 videos in one day and posted one the day after. And you know, there's workshops and stuff that obviously I take content from. But I don't really batch content like that. Some people like to do that. It's not really something I love to do. And at the same time, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, but I really could have made it a bit easier for myself because when things have been really hard, that's what I have found really difficult. It's really being consistent, especially on the social media. And literally, I work on this business by myself. My business partner is just coming back to work now, which is very exciting. And we're figuring out what that looks like. But it's just been me, right? And so when, you know, you're the face, you're the brand, and, you know, things are really difficult and you've been in tears, you don't want to sit and create content. But yeah, it's been real. And another low light has been, I have worked alone a lot this year. And something I reflected on recently is how amazing it was to be a waitress last year and know that at least 2 or more days a week, I was going to be surrounded by people. And I love people and I get energy from that. And, you know, I am part of some co-working spaces, but also because financially I've not had money flowing in all the time, have I been able to think, I'm going to go co-work from somewhere. Like, I've had to sacrifice doing stuff like that. I've had to sacrifice working next to people, even though I work best that way, or I thought I did. I actually have had to force myself into working from home and enjoying it. And I didn't enjoy it at all for a while. But now I found a rhythm and I've definitely, you know, there's a few things that I do that are non-negotiable. I get up and go for a walk in the morning. I exercise. I try to do 4 days a week. I want to move back up to doing 5, purely just because I know how much it helps me mentally. And it's great to get a change of scenery. And I just try to hold myself accountable. Like, I set myself goals and I write a to-do list of what I want to do that week and I just make it happen. And I keep telling everybody this, I'm really bad at bedtime. I'm trying to get better at that. But sometimes I've also, because of the rate of work that I've had this year and the things I've wanted to get over the line, even last night, I all of a sudden had a burst of energy and a workflow literally at 12:30 at night. And I thought, you know what, let's just ride the wave. And so I just ended up working and doing some stuff. And yeah, like in some ways, I know I work, I love working at nighttime. I know that. But the reality is also when you're in your own business and you're working for yourself, you kind of need to be available for those 9 till 6 office hours that corporate people work, because that's when they're available. So there's a really fine line, you know, and I think also it's seasonal. Like I've worked from home a lot recently and I actually like it now. And I am very productive at home. I never used to be, but I'm very productive at home now. And I really, really enjoy it too. I look forward to it. And it's become something that I don't hate, which is quite funny because I know, like, even a year ago, I was saying I really hate working from home. And I think, you know, one of the things I want to kind of close with is you really need a strong vision in your life. You need to have a clear-cut vision. You need to know where you want to go and what you want to do. Because if you don't know, you're really going to struggle you're just going to struggle when it gets hard. And the reality is this life is going to be hard sometimes. It's not always going to be easy. And we need to make sure that we're actually giving ourselves a chance and an opportunity to get to the vision that we have set for ourselves. And a big part of that is just persevering, being consistent, pushing through even when it's really, really tough. And I have had to take a lot of the advice that I write down and want to do podcasts and workshops on. I've had to take a lot of it on myself. I have had to really confide and press into people around me and my friends. I have to shout out Simone Maya, my beautiful, beautiful friend who I have really been able to press into this year at many moments when it's been really difficult. And I mean, there's actually so many people I could name that if I'm going to stop before I've got mentors, you know, close friends who have helped me so much. But I suppose Simone comes to mind because we've done a lot of modelme events together this year, but also she's a new friend for me. Like at the beginning of this year, I'd only met her once or twice. And so we've really developed a deep friendship this year. And it's been something where we've both committed to, and I'm so thankful for that. Like I said about my friend who lives in Bali, you got to pursue your friendships. So yeah, I think the things that have got me through and really, it's just amazing. Like if you're sitting there thinking at the end of the year, like I haven't done what I've wanted to do, which is, I feel that way over some of the things in my business and in my personal life. I can sit there and honestly, I can say that. But the truth is you have to focus on what you have achieved and what you have done and be kind to yourself. And I found earlier a promo video from 2019 and it gave me such sentiment, and just gratitude. I was like, oh my gosh. And I thought, wow, I have grown leaps and bounds since 2019. And so even in the disappointment of where I feel like I could have done more or better or, you know, not held myself back in certain areas with my business with modelme, I just watched that video and I look back to 5 years ago and I think, oh my gosh, I could cry thinking about it because I'm so thankful that I have pursued what God has given me. And I feel this year more than ever, I've understood that this is not my business, it is the Lord's. And He has given it to me to carry out, and I am a servant of His vision. And it's my mission to carry out what He has called me to do. And I just pray that I can do that more in the next few years, forever to come. And just really want to thank God and give Him all the glory for every single thing that has happened this year with modelme and for the favor that He's put upon my life. And I really pray that for you too, that you would know the vision, the calling, the purpose that God has written over your life and over your heart. And I am so excited to connect with you guys more in the new year. And I hope that you are having a fantastic Christmas and New Year holiday break. And I'll see you very soon. I'll see you in 2025.